Witajcie moi drodzy. Czy uda się nam uratować Tytana TV-mana i w jaki sposób? Iron Cameraman, zapraszam serdecznie.
The long-awaited full version of episode 77 has
Tak
finally
jest.
been released. As its description says,
Ciekawe, czy znaleźli coś w analizach, co będzie bardzo wartościowego. Zobaczymy.
everything comes with a price, and our wait was definitely worth it, paying off many times over with the emotions we got. If you watched my live reaction, you probably noticed I
It's on?
almost teared up at the
okay.
end. Judging by the chat, I wasn't the only one. Emotionally, this episode was incredibly intense, and we'll dive deeper into that in another video. Today, though, we'll focus on analyzing the details and plot twists, many of which weren't immediately obvious. As always, boom.
Okej, czyli to jest pełna analiza. To nie jest jakby, wiecie, no dobra, zostawcie lajka, temu to ma 20 minut. Nie będę to przeskakiwał oczywiście, nie?
625 square kilometers. The nearest continent, Australia, is located 1,500 kilometers away. With this information, we can already make a few conclusions, namely, the first. This is the very main base of the cameramen from episode 50. Upon closer inspection, we can see the similar
No, to jest raczej to samo. Tylko że ta baza tu już jest ulepszona,
architecture
nie?
of the building, including the extra fence with gaps and several towers.
Ale to jak oni się tak szybko przemieszczają w takim razie po tym całym świecie, nie? Skoro ta baza jest w Nowej Zelandii. Jak oni tak szybko na przykład do Stanów tam wchodzą,
The
nie?
second, since these are uninhabited islands far away from the mainland, the base was either created by humans for military or closed research
No może też tutaj były właśnie w tej bazie te badania, nie?
purposes, like Alpha Hills, or by the cameramen after the start of the war with the Skibidi toilets. Speaking of the war, this time the Skibidi toilets invasion is friendly. Why an invasion? Because the cameramen came out armed, meaning they clearly didn't expect new allies. One of them even grabs his head in surprise. Here we also see an orbital camera and a strider camera, which will soon participate in a counteroffensive.
To ciekawe, czy tu jest ten naukowiec kamera, nie?
Repairmen run to help the wounded. A couple of separated cameramen embrace each other. Two cameramen are discussing something with a pair of Skibidi scientists. A miraculously surviving individual rushes
No
by
dobrze, to naukowcy się przydadzą, nie?
in a wheelchair. Shepard walks home as if nothing happened. And behind him, a cameraman
A ten to jest chyba, no właśnie, ten to już jest ulepszony w ogóle.
carries the last thing left of his comrade, the camera. Poor Yorick. And it wouldn't be complete without memes. At the end, a Skibidi skeleton with a burning skull passes by, clearly cosplaying as the Ghost Rider. The
Ghost
helicopter
Rider,
pilot
no.
in a wide-brimmed hat is definitely a fun Easter egg. Besides Shepard, we also spot a few familiar faces, like the driver from episode 76, some Skibidi toilets who fought alongside him against the Astro, the yellow cameraman from episode 75, and a dual saw-wielding Skibidi. Honestly, at first, I didn't even recognize the girl talking to the operator as the mutant girl from episode 75.
To raczej nie
But the
ona.
overall design matches. The
Serio? To jest ona? Nie.
helmet, 4 limbs on her back, and the weapon stolen from Baby Jagger. Except now, there are 2 of them. Another redesign, it seems. What else
To jest redesign? Moim zdaniem
is
nie.
new? If
To
you're
jest
still
nowa.
not convinced, here's the main
Raczej.
clue. Identical scars on their faces. She gets the operator's attention with a gesture and says, "Hey, your comrades, you didn't even bother saving them. Without our help, they'd be dead. So now, brother, your base is our base." And just like that, an alliance is born. Whether that's good or bad, only time will tell. Also, it's amusing that the cameramen were transported in a container with paper bags over their heads. One cameraman even takes his bag off in the background. What's the point of this
No
kind of
właśnie, to było głupie, że te torby są, nie?
transport? Who knows? There's nothing to see inside a closed container anyway, except the cameramen themselves and at least one speakerman
Głośnik
crammed
nawet
in
jest.
there too. Another notable detail, the emblems on the Skibidi toilets' helmets. These clearly denote ranks and are based on US military insignias. For instance, the mutant woman is a first sergeant. It seems Skibidi toilets are finally developing a hierarchy beyond just G-Man and their chief scientist, whose role has now been taken over by Skibidi Kleiner. On the other hand, Titan TV man, watching this live broadcast, is clearly not pleased. Since the next scenes jump between 7 different locations, including the TV men's base, let's break it down by place before getting into the heated argument between Titan TV man and the TV scientist. Khabarovsk, Russia. If it weren't for the caption, I would have thought this was just a regular news report from Chelyabinsk.
No ale fajnie, że teraz te lokacje są dodawane, nie?
The Astro are wreaking havoc on what's left of the city. A cameraman, literally pouring courage down his throat.
Nawiązanie,
considering he doesn't have
takie
a mouth.
memy typowo rosyjskie, ciekawe, nie?
Prepares to fend off the invaders. Then, of course, a brawl breaks out with the Skibidi toilets nearby, one of whom is armed with a massive knife and wearing a comical ushanka. It's such an over-the-top stereotype it almost makes your teeth
Uszanka, no.
ache. All that's missing are battle bears and transformer matryoshkas. Who knows?
Matryoshka?
Maybe someday Mr. Boom will bless us with a Russian spin-off. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Through the wreckage of a building, we spot the familiar silhouette of the secret agent.
Ty, tu też był? O kurde, to jestem pewien, że w każdej z tych państw on był. W Rosji też gdzieś pewnie na mapie będzie.
Passively observing as cameramen and Skibidi toilets hopelessly fall in defeat. However, one green speakerman manages to escape, seemingly vanishing into thin air as he reaches a car. Is it a
Ciekawe.
bug or is it a feature? Maybe the secret agent casts some kind of invisibility cloak on him. Birmingham, UK. The operator stands surrounded by the bodies of fallen comrades, speakermen, cameramen, and even partial remains visible in the corridor. Everything is engulfed in flames. It looks like there was a brutal battle here. Once again, the secret agent's silhouette is seen in a
Ale to czy myślicie, że jest więcej tych secret agentów, a nie tylko jeden? Może ma jakieś klony też, nie?
window,
Bo on jest w kilku miejscach naraz.
disappearing with a crack of thunder. The operator ventures further, capturing the horror of what happened, but it's not over yet. From the darkness, an Astro emerges, only to vanish again moments later. The operator fires his stasis weapon blindly, but it's no use. You might think the enemy used some kind of hyper jump, but if that were the case, the operator wouldn't still be standing. Suddenly, the Astro appears again from the right and slices through the operator. So, it turns out they have invisibility tech. No wonder G toilets have it too. Osaka, Japan.
To jest
A
fajne,
samurai
nie?
cameraman, fully equipped, looks down from above, seemingly scanning the distance for enemies. Below him are a speakerman with a hammer, a Skibidi toilet straight from the rice fields, and an Astro impaled by a shuriken, whose weapon has already been borrowed by a large cameraman. Not one to waste time, the operator tries out his weapon too, though we don't see the results. Base 1, Alaska, USA. This is the TV men's base,
No,
to
to jest
clarify.
miejsca TV
Amid the
menów.
snowy wasteland and spruces stands a lone cabin. There's no better place for a hideout, really. Halifax, Canada. Once again, everything is on fire, with Astro ominously looming over yet another captured territory. They're about to face off against Titan TV Man, Denver, USA. Finally, we return to a familiar location from previous episode.
No właśnie, jak oni się tak szybko przemieścili do Denver? Chyba, że jest jedna baza gdzieś kamer, nie?
We're greeted by a sniper with tactical headphones and a cameraman stretching, judging by his pose, while holding an Astro weapon. Vehicles rush past, accompanied by a squad including an orbital and a Strider cameraman. However, since Titan TV Man revealed the cameramen's base, there clearly hasn't been enough time to transport them such a long distance. So these broadcasts aren't connected to the dialogue. They must involve significant time skips. What ties these broadcasts together
Aha, czyli to się nie dzieje równolegle. Ciekawe.
is the universal alliance between the Skibidi toilets and the cameramen. Nothing unites former enemies quite like a bigger, shared threat. After this broadcast cuts off, we're transported back to the TV men's base. However, we realize we missed the crucial dialogue that played throughout the entire montage. So let's revisit that. Stupid scum, exclaims the Titan of Arrogance, furious at the mutant woman who declared the
No to nie
cameraman's
będziemy jakby tak
replies disagree. To the TV men's base, the Titan continues. They don't have the strength. They've already lost their command, marching to their certain death. Are we really just going to let them die? The TV scientist remains firm. Progress requires sacrifice. It's better to play it safe than risk losing everything. I learned that the hard way. The Titan snaps again, unable to hold back. Idiot! At this rate, there won't be a single safe place left. The TV scientist responds calmly. All this time, the speakermen have been preparing their armada. They'll come. Just wait. You won't even take a step before they send their strongest warriors after you. But the Titan has the final word, announcing triumphantly. That's the plan. Today, everything changes. So we can draw two conclusions from...
Ale to ciekawe. No to w takim razie, no w sumie UFO i reszta z Astro by użyli tego planu prędzej czy później, nie? Oni tylko czekali, aż Tytan TV Man się pojawi.
First, based on the TV scientist's words about caution, it's clear he regrets something he lost in the past, something we'll revisit later. The second is simpler. The TV Titan's plan was to lure out the large, powerful Astro units using bait, steal samples of their weaponry, return to base, and get an upgrade that might finally give them a fighting chance against such a powerful enemy, all while saving the reckless cameramen who had launched a suicidal counterattack. Thanks to the miraculous intervention of the G-Titan, the TV Titan successfully achieves his goal, though critically damaged in the process.
No tak, tylko że jakby G-Man tam został, to czy by to coś dało? Może on by wiedział, w jaki sposób też zakłócić te UFO, nie? Astro technologię. On ma o tym informację, dużą wiedzę, nie?
Process. Now we move to the second scene. The TV Titan, closer to death than life, returns to base. The TV scientist, furious, scolds him in a "I told you so" manner. Look at what you've done to yourself. Why did you stay behind to fight? Without hesitation, the Titan pulls out the weapon he took from the Juggernaut and counters. You needed samples. I got you samples. But something...
Wiecie, co oni powinni zrobić? Od razu włączyć to, żeby się teleportowali do innej bazy, a w tej ustawić autodestrukcję. No ale bo to wtedy by nie było odcinka, nie?
The portal behind him glows red. The TV scientist notices it, takes a step back, and fear flashes across his screen. Why, the gate! It's not closing! The Titan turns around, realizing the horror of what's happening. He doesn't yet know the cost of his reckless mission for his comrades. Elite TV Man quickly switches to a live feed from the portal entrance and witnesses a terrifying sight. Something is holding the portal open. Moments later, the source is revealed. UFO. Red smoke swirls around it, its weapon and core glowing intensely, while its body radiates a menacing red light as it struggles to keep such...
Ciekawe, że oni posiadli taką technologię. Myślicie, że to od naukowca dostali? Od naukowca Skibidi?
For so long. Right behind it appears the updated Duchess. It might seem like an upgrade, but logically, why would she receive such a drastic transformation upon arriving on Earth, completely unscathed? Instead of her simple toilet-headed form, she's now a towering humanoid figure, comparable in size to the Titan, a redesign befitting her lofty title. Mockingly, she sneers, "Where do you think you're going, fool?" and sends her tentacles through the portal, aiming for the Titan. Elite TV Man looks away from the screen and helplessly watches as the Titan struggles to fend off the Duchess's grasp. Despite his efforts, the Titan is caught in her clutches, unable to escape. With his final words, he says,
No on tutaj miał ona paraliżuje, nie?
I
macki.
can't move. After being overpowered, the Titan is dragged through the gate to the other side. But the nightmare isn't over for the TV men. Through the still open portal, two interceptors burst into their base and begin wreaking havoc. Elite TV Man, unable to hold back, charges at one of the interceptors, blinding its left eye. Unfortunately, this isn't enough. The large TV man joins the fray to assist, while the second interceptor wastes no time continuing its assault. However, a nearby TV manages to catch it off guard, striking it with a searing orange beam. In an attempt to dodge, the interceptor seals its own fate, falling victim to an energy turret's attack. Meanwhile, the large TV man finishes off the first interceptor. It seems the worst is over, but then he notices a device protruding from the defeated interceptor.
No, zniszczą tą
He
bazę,
exclaims,
nie?
crushing it immediately. The Astro ship self-destructs in a last-ditch effort to take its opponent down, but our heroes manage to evade just in time. It's worth noting that this same type of explosion occurred with the severed head earlier, meaning at least all interceptors are equipped with self-destruct capabilities.
No to jest ciekawe, nie? Że jak trzeba uważać, bo jeszcze mają autodestrukcję
The
Astro,
TV
nie?
men's
Jacek
base lies
Wilczek.
in ruins. Just 2 interceptors caused unimaginable damage in mere moments. Imagine what would happen if the mothership attacked. Unfortunately, the TV men won't have to imagine for long. Looking at the screen, they realize the mothership looms directly above their base, charging its weapon. Seconds later, a massive explosion shakes the underground hideout. Had their base been on the surface, it would have been obliterated. Luckily, as the scientist had said, they were hidden underground. While the base withstands the mothership's onslaught for now, the scientist and the TV woman work quickly to teleport the entire base to a backup location. A square indicator on the wall shifts from white to black, whatever that may signify. Streams of violet energy
Ciekawe, czy
power the
Astro będzie potem sprawdzać, czy rzeczywiście tam ktoś był.
machinery, and everything is engulfed in smoke. Suddenly, we're thrown into a flashback. To the scientist's left, there's a TV set. Fittingly ironic. To his right, a photograph shows him with someone. Warning lights flash red on the monitors, signaling something has gone horribly wrong. In front of him is nothing but thick black smoke with violet sparks. Voices echo around him, seemingly belonging to other TV men, but one stands out, a female voice. The scientist turns to it, and then we hear screams before everything fades into darkness. As you might have guessed, this scientist is none other than our familiar
No natomiast tamta to była jego córka podobno.
TV man in his signature white lab coat, violet shirt, badge on his left chest pocket, black trousers and shoes. His earlier words about regret now carry much more weight. Whatever happened in the past led to tragedy, costing the lives of many, including someone close to him. Judging by the female voice, it could have been his girlfriend or wife. Hopefully, future episodes will shed light on this mystery.
No albo córka, nie? Wydaje mi się, że córka
The
tam była.
smoke clears, revealing the new TV men base, an abandoned prison on the coast of the North
No to
Sea. The
widzieliśmy,
TV
nie?
men stand amidst the fiery ruins of their previous base, utterly shocked by the devastation. But there's one more crucial detail. It was the TV woman who helped the scientist activate the teleporter and stood beside him afterward.
Moim zdaniem TV Woman to jest ta jego córka, nie?
She also piloted the scientist's mech in episode 73. This raises the possibility that she could be the same person he lost,
No.
perhaps revived or transformed. Speaking of critical details, how did the UFO control the portal? Even the scientist mentioned in his argument with the Titan that if their technology fell into the Astro's hands, this is exactly what would happen. But how? No TV men had been captured, so the Astros shouldn't have access to
No jak, kto miał dostęp do tej technologii? Skibidi ziemskie, nie?
such tech. The answer might be closer and more chilling than you think. Let's revisit the moment just before
Chyba, że ten TV Man to jest zdrajca,
the
no
base
ale to by było już
teleportation.
zabyt.
Notice anything unusual? How about the maniacal grin of one specific TV man? He's the only one whose screen displayed such an emotion. One completely out
Cieszy
of
się z
place
tego,
given the
nie?
dire
Że
circumstances.
tu wszystko się
Could he
niszczy.
really be happy that the Titan was captured and the base nearly destroyed? Remember, this is the same TV man who values samples over comrades, the one who promised the cameramen they would regret their actions. So many suspicious details point to this character's dark nature, and where there's a dark nature, there are dark deeds. Could this be a revenge story against the scientist? Did someone he cared for also suffer? Could he have orchestrated the Titan's downfall? As for the Titan's fate, it's even more grim. The Duchess successfully drags him to her base. He barely manages to stand before collapsing again under the blows of her whip. "Does it hurt?" she taunts, clearly savoring the sadistic torture. "Didn't even feel it," the Titan replies with unshakable confidence, his will unbroken. The mastermind of it all, the UFO, arrives, fulfilling the Juggernaut's ominous prophecy of a fate worse than death. It promises the Titan that his suffering is far from over. The Duchess signals to the carrier, which releases something toward the Titan. The creature roars and attacks his core.
No, to opracowali technologię, żeby kontrolować tych tytanów.
The Titan fights with all his
Pytanie, czy da się... Myślę, że da się to usunąć,
remaining
nie?
strength, but it's no use. The device
Pod wpływem
completes its
jakiegoś
task,
dźwięku czy
taking
coś.
control of him and giving him a new identity, which he declares Serve your new master, Watchman of Doom. He mercilessly destroys the drone that had been observing the scene. The episode seems to end here, but for a few moments the broadcast is interrupted by green static, hinting at the imminent intervention of a secret agent. And really, who else could hack into such a device controlling the Titan other than the PC men? The appearance of such technology among the Astros was expected.
No pojawi się na pewno nowa rasa, jestem pewny, a w podsumowaniu sezonu dostaniemy właśnie więcej informacji o sekretnym agencie.